Welcome to Session 5, Child Growth and Development, also reviewing the inclusion of special needs. During this session, we will review the Florida Early Learning and Developmental Standards from the Agency for Workforce Innovation and the Office of Early Learning. The objective for this session include being familiar with the early childhood entities such as the Office of Early Learning and acquainting oneself with the history of the standards. You will also be able to understand the first 5 years of growth and development and understand the importance of a responsive relationship as it relates to promoting early development. The first 5 years of life is a period of rapid development for young children. Recent research supports that every child is born with well-developed senses and reflexes. Beginning at birth, young infants are able to form relationships with adults, develop trust, and explore the world. With adequate nutrition, an appropriate environment, and nurturing by responsive adults, young children become actively engaged in exploration and in learning about their environments. Each child's special temperament and family context ensures that, while development will follow a somewhat predictable sequence, the child's development will be unique. Florida's Early Learning and Developmental Standards is a comprehensive document containing age-appropriate information and reflections about how young children explore, create, and think. The standards are grounded in Florida's conviction that children's early experiences are directly related to later success in school, in the workforce, and in life. Pause the video and take a few moments and review the history of the Florida's Early Learning and Developmental Standards. Florida's Early Learning and Development Standards is organized into 5 domains or areas of development. These domains include the following: physical development, approaches to learning, social and emotional development, language and communications, cognitive development, and general knowledge. Each domain is divided into subdomains that focus on specific areas. The standards themselves are found within subdomains. To make the standards useful for parents, caregivers, and teachers, a series of questions to ask yourself are included for each domain. Florida's Early Learning and Developmental Standards is based on principles that incorporate our collective knowledge about child development and best practices. These principles include the following. The first 5 years is a period of rapid growth and development. Nurturing and responsive relationships are the foundation of health, growth, and development. Consistency and continuity of experiences promotes development. Developmental milestones occur in a somewhat predictable order, but each child develops at a unique pace. Children learn in many ways and in multiple settings. Adults can provide intentional and appropriate experiences that enhance children's learning. The first 5 years is a period of rapid growth and development. Development begins prenatally and continues throughout life. During the first 3 years of development, a child's brain connections become increasingly complex, and interference with those connections could have long-term effects on development. Children's increasing physical prowess facilitates learning across all domains. The capacity to form and maintain productive and nurturing relationships with other people supports the development of cognitive and language skills. Nurturing and responsive relationships are the foundation of health, growth, and development. Young children depend on the unconditional love, support, and guidance of those adults who care for them in order to maximize new learning opportunities. The most important relationship in a young child's life is the one between the child and his or her parents. Other significant adults must work in partnership with parents to ensure a seamless and supportive environment. Consistency and continuity of experiences promotes development. Young children thrive when there are common threads across the settings in which they develop. Their confidence in trying new skills and finding unique information is more apt to occur when they can accurately predict their environments and have a sense of trust in the adults that care for them. Developmental milestones occur in a somewhat predictable order, but each child develops at a unique pace. Development occurs in all 5 domains, but not necessarily at the same pace. Growth in one domain can affect growth in another domain. Development is shaped by many factors, including genetics, the early environment, individual temperaments, and cultural backgrounds. Children learn in many ways and in multiple settings. Learning occurs in all parts of the child's world, at home, in early childhood setting, and in communities. Young children learn from their daily routines and from both planned and unplanned activities. They learn from adults and from other children. This learning is enhanced when adults actively guide and expand young children's play through exploration, encouragement, imitation, and repetition. Limited overt direction from adults may be necessary as well. Adults can provide intentional and appropriate experiences that enhance children's learning. Significant adults in a child's life can support and enrich development by ensuring that basic health and safety needs are met. Providing a supportive and joyous environment can encourage a young child to love exploration and problem solving, and also to try out new skills and take risks. The quality and quantity of a child's early experiences can impact the child's later success in school, in the workforce, and in life. During the first 5 years, young children undergo more rapid and dramatic changes in their physical development than at any other time in their lives. Changes in body proportion, coordination, and strength occur, as does increasingly complex brain development. Children develop a remarkable physical, motor, and sensory capacity that enhances exploration and mastery of their environment. Physical development impacts other developmental areas. Research and experience suggest that planned physical activities and exposure to a wide array of experiences are keys to the physical development of young children. Increased body control enables young children to become active partners in managing their own health, safety, and physical fitness. Because many health-related behaviors are developed in childhood, it is vital that the adults who care for young children consciously promote physical development. There are 4 components to young children's physical development. They are gross motor development, fine motor development, self-help, and health. Gross motor development refers to the use, refinement, and coordination of the body's large muscles. Fine motor development focuses on the use, refinement, and coordination of the small muscles. Self-help refers to the child's capacity to accomplish health and self-care routines independently and interdependently with significant adults. Health includes physical, dental, auditorial, and visual development, as well as the nutritional, mental health, and wellness needs of young children. Throughout the early years, children demonstrate increasingly complex capacities that enable them to create their own learning experiences. As they master new and more complicated tasks, children's self-confidence increases. Parents, caregivers, and teachers can provide safe and supportive exploration, excitement about new accomplishments, and respect for individual differences. Let's review gross motor in action.
In early childhood, growth rates slow, with the average child growing 2.5 inches in height and gaining 5 to 7 pounds a year. During this period, rapid gains are seen in gross motor skills. Gross motor skills involve large muscle movements or movements of the entire body. 2- and 3-year-old children have begun to walk and run with ease, but their coordination and balance have yet to fully mature. This leads to their often less than graceful approach to stairs and dancing.
Just like Alice.
Olivia, who is 3.5, can almost hop on one foot without support. She can kick a ball, but she can't yet throw and catch a ball easily, using her body as well as her hands and arms in her attempt. By the age of 4, most children can jump, skip, and hop on one foot, as well as run much faster than they could at 2 or 3.
Although all of the children in the gym have met the motor milestones for their age, there is much individual variation in their coordination of motor skills, which affects how well they perform in the beanbag activity. Girls and boys perform relatively equally with regard to gross motor skills in the preschool years, a trend that will begin to change with age.
Let's review fine motor in action.
Between the ages of 2 and 5, children also improve dramatically in their ability to control and coordinate fine motor activity, skills that involve fine body movements, like the hands and fingers. William, who is 2.5 years old, is just beginning to have enough fine motor control to be able to eat with a spoon with some success. As children gain more control over the muscles in their fingers, hands, and wrists, and as hand-eye coordination improves, they can manipulate puzzle pieces more easily. By the age of 3 or 4, most children have graduated from simple puzzles designed for ease of handling to more complex ones.
By 4 or 5, children are able to cut, draw, paint, and write. While their skills are clearly still developing, they are laying the foundation for the handwriting they'll practice in school.
I am done, Lori.
You're done?
Yes.
Right now.
Where?
On the table. Because you spilled it.
No, I didn't.
You did.
20-month-old Tess, for example, is not able to draw a recognizable picture, although she clearly has intent. Caroline's increased ability to hold the marker and to coordinate her wrist movements results in artistic representations which we can easily recognize.
Let's review self-help in action.
Self-regulation is involved in all aspects of life. As children develop self-control and learn to regulate emotions, behaviors, and attention, they become more independent and competent, both personally and socially. People need to be able to react to changing events, but also to regulate their reactions. Getting upset by things that are upsetting is useful when it motivates people to try to make things better. Staying upset or carrying negative emotions around for long periods of time can be destructive. Mobilizing efforts to explore a new problem or situation is very important and useful. Staying mobilized to the point of exhaustion and collapse is unhealthy. Adaptation and development require reaction and regulation. Infants and young children are often good at the reaction part, but need help with the regulation. In early development, regulation is linked to children's relations with others. The job of parents, teachers, and other caregivers is to provide the experiences that allow children to take over and self-regulate in one aspect of their lives after another. As they care for infants, parents act as extensions of infants' internal regulatory systems. The basic task of the early months of life is to establish a connection between parent and child. Making that connection is not always easy. It requires the ability to read and understand a baby's needs, and also the knowledge, energy, and resources to respond in ways that are helpful. Once a connection has been established, responsibility for the regulation of day-to-day routines, such as sleeping, waking, feeding, and soothing, can be gradually handed over to the infant.
Let's review healthy in action.
Eating habits are instilled from a young age, and often these habits are carried through to adulthood. Children who learn to eat well can develop and sustain a healthy lifestyle, which has many benefits such as healthy growth, development, and preventing long-term illness. Children who eat healthy foods in their everyday lives can be more alert and interested in activities, which can improve their concentration and learning. All early childhood education and care service staff are in a unique position to support children's development and growth and to promote good eating habits. You can become a great health promoter by making small changes to the way you do things at your service. As an educator, you have an important role to play in promoting healthy eating early to children in your care. You can help provide a healthy eating environment by making mealtimes relaxed and comfortable, sitting and eating with the children, being positive about the healthy foods the children are eating, encouraging fussy eaters to try new foods, being a positive role model with the foods you eat, and teaching the children about healthy eating through discussions, questions, games, and activities. There are things you can do when you're away from the children as well, like working with other staff, the cook, and management on how to improve mealtimes for the children, contributing to and supporting your organisation's healthy eating policy, passing on information to parents about healthy eating, and building on your own skills and knowledge about health promotion through seminars, workshops, and other training. If you want to get a bit more creative, you can set up a veggie garden, growing simple vegetables like carrots and trying your hand at some herbs. You could then try some cooking activities with the children using the produce you've grown. Having a compost bin or worm farm can get the children talking about leftovers and the importance of not wasting food. For your health promotion activities to work most effectively, the whole early childhood service needs to be behind it.
Social and emotional development. Humans are social, interacting with others on many levels throughout their lives. Young children's early relationships with parents and other caregivers become the framework for their future social and emotional development. Moreover, children construct knowledge about the world through their social exchanges, signifying the importance of social and emotional development to all other areas of development. For these reasons, early attachments are extremely important to children's overall health, development, and learning. Infants and toddlers have developmental capacities that support their social interactions. Their relationships are influenced by their temperaments and by the cultural context in which these interactions occur. Cultural groups may have different expectations for children's rates of development, and caregivers and teachers must be aware and sensitive to these differences when working with families. Young infants are very dependent on their parents, caregivers, and teachers to meet their psychological and emotional needs. When care is sensitive and responsive, infants learn that the world is safe and that they can trust others to meet their needs. Non-responsive and insensitive care creates a sense that people and the environment are not consistent or trustworthy. Without this basic trust, infants and toddlers find it hard to take risks or to develop a positive sense of self. With sensitive caregiving, infants can move into toddlerhood ready to use their increasing motor, language, and cognitive skills with confidence. Toddlers acquire strategies for adapting their emotions within a variety of settings and with a limited number of people. Because they still have limited verbal skills, toddlers often express their feelings through actions. Emotions from laughter to angry outbursts can help toddlers develop new understandings and other feelings and motives. Their successful emotional development is linked to their relationship with parents, caregivers, and teachers, and the adult's knowledge and capacity to respond to toddlers' individual and temperament differences. As children grow, their ability to establish relationships with peers and with additional adults influences how they view themselves and the world. Positive and adaptive social behaviors results from interacting with others who have different characteristics and backgrounds. With the help and support of adults, preschool children expand their capacity to recognize and express their own feelings, and to understand and respond to the emotions of others. For children with special needs, social and emotional development provides a foundation for programs in other areas of development. With nurturing and knowledgeable parents, caregivers, and teachers, tremendous strides are possible. There are three primary components of social and emotional development in young children. Trust and emotional security includes how children feel about themselves, as well as how safe they feel in their environment and relationships with others. The confidence a child develops through positive relationships with parents, caregivers, and teachers provides a foundation for the development of pro-social behaviors during the preschool years. For young children, there should be a focus on their skills that enables them to engage positively with others, develop better understanding of themselves and others, and express and interpret emotions. Self-regulation is the second component and involves the ability to manage one's own needs and emotions. Over time, young children move from reliance on others to competence. They accomplish tasks that include everything from learning and adjusting to the day-night rhythm of their family, to signaling their needs to responsive adults, to managing powerful emotions. These growing abilities to regulate behavior are strongly influenced by culture, by children's relationships with others, and by the growing maturity and integration of several areas of the brain. The third component of social and emotional development is self-concept. From warm and responsive reciprocal relationships, young children develop a sense of themselves as increasingly competent and confident. With support from their parents, caregivers, and teachers, and a safe, challenging environment, the perceptions of young children about their competencies become more accurate and satisfying. Language and communication. Language, communication, and early reading and writing are critical to children's ability to learn, work, and play with others. Communication through oral language and the written word are essential in daily living. Adaptive language or strategies are especially important for individuals who have no or limited verbal or literacy skills. The development of language is a complex process that enables children to actively communicate their questions, desires, and understanding of the world around them. Children's communication then allows adults to plan and respond to children's needs and inquiries. Language and communication skills impact all other areas of development and are essential for the development of cognition, logic, and reasoning skills. Good communication skills help children negotiate relationships and get their needs met. Supportive adults and a print-rich environment are important to children's success in developing early reading and writing skills. Infants are born wired for developing language. They come into the world able to recognize human speech and different sounds. Young infants use their own sounds, facial expressions, and body movements to communicate their feelings and needs. They gaze intently at the faces of their parents, caregivers, and teachers, and quickly learn to direct the adult's attention to particular objects by pointing with their eyes. The developing communication skills of young infants are reinforced when adults respond positively to their smiles, frowns, and coos. Older infants become better at expressing themselves through gestures, babbling, and their first words. They enjoy having books read to them and listening to stories and songs. Young toddlers expand their vocabulary with new words at a very rapid pace. Their larger vocabulary allows them to begin stringing words together into two-word sentences. They understand that pictures can represent real objects and delight in acting out familiar routines and using pictures to represent ideas in their play. Preschool children begin to use language in multiple ways. They use language to communicate their needs, to interact with others, and to describe their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Over the course of only a few years, children gain an understanding of the meaning and structure of words, the meaning and structure of print, and how to use words to articulate and exchange ideas. There are 4 components of language development in young children. Listening and understanding refers to receptive language. When parents, caregivers, and teachers talk to children, the hearing, social, emotional, and language centers of the brain are all stimulated. As young children are exposed to rich vocabularies, They develop an understanding of commonly used words and are able to react in ways that demonstrate their understanding. Communicating and speaking refers to expressive language, which is what is said or expressed to others. Spoken or sign language has several elements to it, including the production of sound or signs, rules of the language, and the social aspect of speech. Language and the power to communicate develops through interactions. This development is motivated by the desires of young children to communicate their individual needs and is enhanced by the amount and richness of the language experiences provided to them. Parents, caregivers, and teachers are powerful contributors to the developing language and communication skills of young children. They encourage language and literacy by talking with children, by reading to them, by responding to their language, and by expressing joy in their emerging abilities. Cognitive development and general knowledge. Cognitive development refers to the skills and strategies that children use to explore and learn about their worlds and to solve challenging problems. General knowledge is the collection of information that children gain through interactions with adults, other children, and materials. Children's surroundings and interactions with others play an important role in the domain's development. In safe and supporting environments, children can carry through with their natural desires to act on the world around them. During the first 3 years of life, children demonstrate rapid growth in cognition and general knowledge. The link between nurturing early experiences and cognitive development has been supported by recent brain development research. Scientists have helped parents, caregivers, and teachers understand that safe, healthy, and supportive prenatal and infant-toddler environments are critical for optimum development. The cognitive development of infants and toddlers has 3 components: exploration and discovery, concept development and memory, problem solving and creative expression. Exploration and discovery are ways that young children learn about their world by using their senses and reflexes. The initial spontaneous responses of infants becomes more purposeful as they gain mobility. The expanding physical and motor capacities of toddlers enables them to engage in ever-widening explorations, which can promote their new brain connections. Concept development and memory involves learning the relationship between objects and experiences. Young infants understand and respond primarily to people and objects in their immediate environment. Older infants have more specific memories which facilitate their ability to label objects and people and to relate them to new experiences. Understanding concepts like color and size help toddlers approach new situations. As infants and toddlers seek out strategies for meeting their immediate needs, problem solving and creative expression emerge. Toddlers are able to identify challenges and obstacles in their environments. Consider steps for responding based on previous experience, test out those steps, and consider new steps when the first attempts are not met successfully. For this week's session assignments, read in Essentials pages 50, 51, 121, 122, 179, 195, 223, 224, 301, and 302. You will also complete the Florida Birth to 5 Early Learning Standards quiz.